Today, I want to talk about something that is so fundamental when it comes to composition, but unfortunately, a lot of amateurs miss this one. And frankly, even some pros miss this. And it's about keeping your horizon line straight. It's basically keeping your picture straight and not slant. What is the horizon? Horizon is where the sky meets the ground. So if you're at the ocean, it's where the sky meets the ocean. So what am I saying here? Basically, you want to keep the horizon line straight. Now, if you can see the horizon, maybe you're at the beach, then it's easy to keep the horizon straight. You just need to make sure that the line where the sky meets the ocean is straight in your viewfinder. You can turn on the grid lines in your viewfinder and use those as a reference to line up your horizon. What if you can't see the horizon? Maybe you're in the city, there are a lot of buildings around you, or there are mountains or trees. For whatever reason, you can't see the horizon. You should still keep your picture straight, because we don't go around the world seeing everything in a slant way. Humans, we see the world in a straight way, right? And so it goes back to what we saw in the first lesson. We want to keep our pictures as natural as possible. So we don't want to give that awkward sensation. If you were to put a wall hanging in your home, you wouldn't make it slant, right? You would keep it straight. It's the same in photography. We want to keep our pictures, we want to represent our scene as naturally as possible. And unfortunately, this is one of those things where I think people just don't realize that it's important. But it's so easy to fix. If you can see the horizon, just line up your horizon with the lines in your viewfinder. But if you can't see the horizon, you are in the city, or you have buildings around you. What do? Well, there are a few things you can do. One is you can use an object in your scene. Maybe it's a building or a bridge or a tree that is presumed straight. You can use that object as your reference point to keep your picture straight. So, if there's a building, you just line up the building with the lines in your viewfinder, the grid lines. So if the building is straight, then you know your picture is straight. The other thing that you can do is to use the virtual horizon indicator that is found in some cameras. My camera has it, and basically when I rotate my camera, when my camera becomes straight, the indicator will turn green. This is sort of like the level indicator that you would see construction workers use to make sure the ground is level. It's the same thing. It's just a digital form of it. So if you have it, you can make use of it. I use it quite often. Make sure my camera is straight, especially when I'm using the tripod and I'm adjusting my level. I usually will use the virtual horizon indicator. But if you can see the horizon, or if you can see a building or something that's supposedly straight, you can just visually fix. You can just do this visually. You don't need the horizon indicator. And then, of course, if you happen to miss the horizon, if you don't get it right when shooting, then you can fix it after the fact. There are a lot of tools that can straighten your pictures, including the one, if you take a shot with your phone, your camera app in the phone will have the straightening tool that you can use to fix it. It's easy to keep your horizon straight. It's not rocket science. But why do so many people miss this? And I think that's because they don't realize that it makes a difference to their pictures. Keeping your horizon straight is important in most types of shots, but it's especially important in landscape shots. Why? Because you can see the horizon in most types of landscape shots. Maybe you're in a coastal scene or in front of some mountains or whatever it is. You can usually see the sky in a landscape scene. So if you miss keeping the horizon straight in a landscape shot, it's going to show. It's going to be so obvious because mostly the actual horizon is going to be visible, and if it's not straight, it's just going to look uh, not thought out on your part. So keep your landscape shots straight. Now, there are some exceptions to this. There are times when I want to keep my horizon straight, and one such scenario is at concerts. If the singer is singing with a mic and sort of looking upwards, I might on purpose tilt my camera and take a slant shot, and that's because I want to emphasize the singer's expressions and emotions. This is the theme that is important to keep in mind, right? Intention. It's not, we talked about keeping your pictures natural, but the other reason is that you want to make your shots look intentional. When you go from being an amateur towards starting to shoot like a pro, intention is going to be key. When I look at a picture that's slant, the first thing that comes to mind is that this photographer didn't really put a lot of thought into the picture, and that ruins my experience. So be intentional with your shots. That's going to be a recurring theme you're going to be seeing in short class. Now you will run into some tricky situations. For example, if there is a structure in your scene like a bridge that is not straight, probably because you're not looking at it from a straight view, you're looking at it from an angle, and the bridge is going to look somewhat slant. You might get fooled into trying to line up your shot with the bridge, which means your shot's going to end up slant because the bridge is slant. So you just want to keep this in mind. Your picture should always be straight, aligned to the actual horizon, not the structure itself. Now, we're going to use the structure as a reference point if the structure is presumed straight. If your building or bridge in your scene is not straight, don't use that as a reference. Use your virtual horizon indicator in your camera or something else to keep your picture straight. And your bridge will, in reality, you're seeing the bridge is not straight. So in your picture, it won't be straight, and that's fine. But our brains, people seeing your pictures, our brains can tell if something is straight or not. So this is why it's important to keep your pictures aligned to the actual horizon and not to something else in your scene that is not straight. So that's it. It's a simple compositional guideline, simple to follow, simple to fix, but still a lot of people just miss this. And I think that's because, like I said, they don't realize that it's important. No one's told them that it makes a difference. So they don't really care about it. But I want you to care about your horizon lines. Nothing looks more amateurish than a shot with a horizon that is not straight. So make sure to keep your horizon straight unless you have a reason to keep it slant.